Good morning, everyone. This is Area Mays with Let's Talk About Real Estate. I'm a licensed broker for Kaizen Realty. I'm licensed in Mississippi and Tennessee, serving your needs. If you're interested in purchasing a home, I'm here available for you. If you're interested in selling a home, I'm available for you. This broadcast is hosted by Oak Hill Regional CDC, and I really want to appreciate them for bringing this monthly webinar on for you all and from me. So I'm very happy about that. And what I want to talk about is that generational wealth. We know that purchasing real estate creates generational wealth, and that is something that's very important. It's a very good time to purchase a home right now. If you're a buyer looking for homes, there's lots of opportunities and houses that's available for you. Down payment assistance, 100% loans. You have the FHA loan, the VA loans. So you got lots of things that can really help you with purchasing a home right now. Having a 640 credit score is really important to help you to get in a home, and then also being sure that you're managing your bills and everything, saving up money. That's a very important part when you get ready to purchase a home too. We do have a new Federal Reserve chairman, so with that being said, we may see interest rates go down soon. So that would be a very, very good plus for anyone that's purchasing a home or somebody that has previously bought a home in the past. Remember that you can always refinance to get the lower interest rate if the rates begin to go down some. And that's what we hope will happen soon. But however, if rates doesn't go down, you still can purchase a home, and buying your dream home, investing into real estate is very good. It's generational wealth that can be transferred down from one generation to a next generation. So looking at it from a different perspective helps you, and then it helps your family member. If you have children or other relatives that you can possibly pass on a house to, and I'm not saying that if you pass away, but you may just want to be able to change your title over to another family member. That's a very good equity that can be transferred. And talking about equity, to know what your equity is in your house, a lot of people say, what is equity? Equity is the amount of that you owe on your home versus what the value is. You can always take advantage of the equity in your home. And let me give you just an example. Just say hypothetically that you own a home and you maybe have paid 200,000 for it, and it has gone up to in value of 300,000 now. That means that you have a $100,000 equity in your home that you can take out from your house to do other things with. You can do have loans for home improvements, for children's going to college, for various reasons. You may want to take your dream vacation, so you can do that with the equity in your home. And a lot of times when you pull equity out of your house, you don't even see a difference in the payment. So taking the equity and using it for your advantage is a very good opportunity, but just be very cautious of how you do it, and that you're taking care of the way that you need to, that you're not going overboard with it. So taking the equity out of your home is very good. You can get a HELOC loan. That's a line of credit that you can get off of your house if you have equity in your home. Also, to create equity in your home, if you pay extra payments toward your principal, and they typically tell us that if you pay at least one extra payment a year towards your principal of your home, you can increase your equity. You can also, if you paid one extra payment a year towards your mortgage payment, if you got a 30-year mortgage, it can be reduced down to 21 years. So really the mindset of a 30-year mortgage is, if you can change that mindset and do the things that's necessary to reduce those years, that is a very good plus for you, so that if you ever needed equity out of your home, you could take the equity out of your home for various reasons. And a lot of people think that, you get a mortgage, you have to pay 30 years. You do not have to pay for a mortgage for 30 years. You are the one that controls how long that you want to pay for that house. Paying one extra payment a year, like I said, reduce it down to 21 years, or you can divide your monthly payment by 12 months. So just hypothetically, just say that your monthly payment is $1,200 a year. You can pay an extra $100 a month, and that's equivalent to the 12 months, and you still reducing your principal on your house. You creating equity in your home. So we want to get the word out to people to let them know if it's tax season or if you get a bonus, if you get extra money a year, take advantage of the opportunity of paying down your principal on your mortgage so that you can take advantage of your equity that's in your house, and it can be such a benefit to you. If you ever get in a financial situation that you need money, you can go get a HELOC loan. You can refinance. If you want to pay for kids' college, you can get the extra money. If you want to buy you a new vehicle, you can get the extra money. So knowing what you can do and taking advantage of your opportunity is why we really put emphasis on purchasing a home and taking advantage of the benefit of home ownership. So we really want to put emphasis on that. Of course, now I know I talk about purchasing a home a lot. If you want to sell your house, now is an absolutely great time to sell the house. There is a lot of houses on the market, and they are staying on the market for about 30 to 60 days. But you want to prepare your house when you're getting ready to sell a house. Put in mind, or keep in mind that if you would be buying your house, what would you want? You want to know that if the walls are painted, if there's some rotten wood, you want to take care of those things. If the furnace has not been serviced, you got some dirty vents, take care of all those things so that when a buyer come into your house, they can have their wow moment, that they can say, whoa, this is the one. So be sure to always put money into your home for home improvements at least once a year, changing some fixtures, doing some painting, changing some flooring. That you rewarding yourself when you do that, and also it's you increasing the value of your home. So when you get ready to sell a house, you can get more money, or if you're just living in a house, it makes you feel better that you have done some upgrades. I've had some people that thought they wanted to sell their house and they decided not to sell their home. They said, well, we'll just remodel our house. We'll just fix this house the way we want it to be. And that's a great thing to do. By you putting the extra money into your house, you're bringing value to your home. So we want to put emphasis on that taking care of your home. Sometimes you may need new windows. You may need some extra work, So just being preparing for your house to be the way you want it to be, or if you decided to sell it, the way the buyers would want it to be when a buyer come into the house. Now today, like I said, we'll have Q&A. I'm going to go over some of the things that I previously went over before, so that if anyone has any questions at the end, you can feel free to ask me questions, things of how to be prepared to purchase a home. First you want to do is you want to save some money. You want to be sure that your credit is up to par. You want to have a 640 credit score. The lender is going to ask you for W-2 forms and tax forms, pay stubs. Be sure to just keep up with all that information so that you can have everything ready when the lender asks you for it. And basically what I always have looked at and always said is that I currently own about 10 houses. So my attitude was that the lender has the money. I want the money. I need the money. So what I do is I give them what they want when they ask for it. Even if they ask you for it repeatedly, give them what they want. And every time, if you have gotten yourself together in reference to if you have prepared yourself with good credit, your finances is up to par, and everything is in order, you're going to be successful with getting a loan. Now, the amount of the loan is determined by the amount of income that you have, and then your debt to ratio. So you do not want to be in a lot of debt when you get ready to purchase a home, and be mindful that you know that if you want to purchase a home in the near future, you want to be sure to pay down your debt. I'm not saying pay off your debt. If you can pay it off, that's good, but leave some open because you need some good credit lines in order to get a loan. But to pay down, if you have credit cards, pay them down below 30%. If you have another kind of loan, you want to pay those things down or off, but you never want to close a credit card. So if you got a credit card that you're paying on, you say, hey, I'm going to close this because I know I'm getting ready to purchase home. Don't do that. Don't close it. Don't close an account, because when you do, that could possibly cause your credit score to go down. But you do want to pay the balance down lower. So hypothetically, if you have a credit line for $1,000, you want to pay that now below $300. And then you want to pay it consistently on time each month. Be sure not to have any overdrafts on your from your bank statements and things like that, and don't have any insufficient funds. But just be sure to pay them on time. At least what the lender looks at your history for about 12 months. So you want to be sure everything is good for 12 months, and that's the way you get ready to get prepared to purchase a home. And we want to instill into our children, we want to instill into the young people to be prepared to purchase a home when they get to the age of, I'm gonna say 21, 22. You can buy a house in Mississippi as young as 21, I believe. If you're 18, then your parents have to sign for it, although it would be your home. But when you're 21 in Mississippi, you can purchase your home. But we want to give them the mindset of purchasing a home, taking advantage of the opportunity of generational wealth, and being new homeowners. So we definitely want to instill that into our young people so that they would be prepared to purchase home. I sell a lot of young people houses in the age of 21, 22, 23, and I'm so proud of them because taking advantage of home ownership at that young age is really amazing. And then most of the time they really don't pay for a house for 30 years because they're going to be buying in the future. That's their beginner home. In the future, they're going to be buying their dream home. So it doesn't have to be anything fancy. It can be something less than $200,000, what you will be paying for rent. But having home ownership is very good. It helps you in the long run. It's creating wealth and what we want to call it as generational wealth. You purchasing a home, you're making your mortgage payment each month. You're putting money into your pocket instead of the landlord pocket. And we want to put emphasis on that for young people. If we could just instill in them to prepare to purchase your own home, I think that'll be a good thing. I think my son, he purchased his first home when he was about 21 or 22. And now he has his second home, which what he did was he took advantage of the opportunities that he currently is renting out the first home and letting that rental payment pay his mortgage. So there's ways that you can take advantage, and you can be creative with real estate. And again, we said that it's generational wealth. It's just you got to know what to do, how to do it, stick with what you is determined to do, and just be mindful that this is what my goal is, and you can do it. And we highly recommend it. When you first get ready to purchase a home, you want to get pre-approved. So you want to go to a local lender that has benefits for you, the ones that has possibly the 100% loan, or the ones that have down payment assistance. And then if you don't have that, if you're a VA, you can get a veterans loan. If you're living in a USDA area, you can get a rural housing loan. That's a 100% USDA, which is basically similar to a conventional loan. So those are things that you can take advantage of. And once you've gotten your pre-approval, then of course you want to get a knowledgeable real estate agent, one that can help you and one that's going to be looking out for your best interest. So we do highly recommend your pre-approval first, and then go to your real estate. A lot of times buyers will contact a realtor first, because initially when you think about I want to purchase a home, you immediately you think, okay, I need to talk with the realtor. And that's okay, and that's well, and that's good. But the realtor is just going to tell you that you got to talk with a loan officer to get pre-approved before they start showing you houses. And that's really the rule, is that you have a pre-approval first, and then you can start looking at homes. And then the realtor, if you got a good realtor, they'll negotiate for you. That you want a realtor that knows how to negotiate for you and get you what you want. You want to get closing costs. You want to get a home warranty. You want to get some repairs done. So a lot of things that you would want, you want to ask your realtor to negotiate those things, to get you those things, so that you can be happen to go into a house with not as much, and then have a little bit of ease with having someone that has accepted and helped you out with everything. And then once you present an offer to a seller, they can either accept, reject, or counterback. So anytime that you present an offer, it doesn't necessarily mean that the seller is going to do exactly what you ask them to do, and they don't have to do exactly what you ask them to do. That's part of the negotiation. And then you want your realtor to negotiate to your best interest to get the things that's what's best for you. So just be mindful that when you're searching for a realtor, you want someone that's going to really look out for your best interests. Um, I think that's all I'm going to discuss. I want to open up for questions and answers. I want to see if anybody has any questions for me today so that I can be sure to give you some good answers. And if I don't know the answer, then I can always get the answer. But we want to put emphasis on purchasing a home, generational wealth. It's a good time to purchase a home. Take advantage of a home ownership instead of renting. Those are some key nuggets that we want you all to remember. And if I can ever help you out, be sure to contact me. And if it's, I mean, even if it's just that you have a question about something pertaining to real estate, feel free to always contact me. And then I can always try to get you the answer if I don't know it, or do whatever I can to help you with things. So now I'm going to open it up for questions and answers. Okay, what's the difference between pre-qualified and pre-approved? Pre-qualified means that the lender has briefly looked at your credit and pull your credit. They have looked at your that portion. They've looked at your income, but they haven't sent it to the underwriter for the pre-approval. So you've got the mortgage lender, and the mortgage lender has to go up to upper level to the underwriter. So once the underwriter looks at everything, that's when you pre-approved. So pre-qualified is the first step, pre-approved is the second step. And sometimes that doesn't happen for a few weeks until you enter the process. But in the meantime, you want to be sure to keep everything in order so that once that underwriter does look at your file, that they will continue to move forward and with your pre-approval at the end so that you can get to the closing table. So pre-qualified is the beginning phase of the pre-approval. Okay, what hidden costs should people be prepared beside the mortgage? When it comes to mortgages, there should not be any hidden costs. Okay, so what happened is that once you get pre-approved, your lender has to, it's mandatory that they disclose everything about that mortgage loan and all that's going to be involved in it before you proceed. So what happened is that they're going to present you disclosures from the beginning, and then they have to present, because you got a time change within a 30-day period, some things would change. At the end, they have to disclose to you. But there should not be any hidden fees when you get ready to purchase a home. When you go to the closing table, the closing attorney is going to tell you what your mortgage payment is going to be. That mortgage payment is going to include your taxes and your insurance. Now, keep in mind that principal, you're getting a fixed rate. So the principal should never change. If you're in a 30-year mortgage, your principal should never change with a fixed mortgage. And we highly recommend that you only accept a fixed mortgage. Never accept an adjustable mortgage or a balloon payment unless you got a plan that you know that you can work that plan. So if you know that you got a plan that you can work that plan and you know exactly what you're doing, then it's okay to get an adjustable or balloon. But other than that, you're going to get a fixed rate. So once you get a fixed rate within that 30 years, that should not change at all. Now, what's going to be included in your mortgage payment is going to be your taxes and your insurance. Those are the two things that can change. Taxes went up in DeSoto County last year, so people were probably seen a significant change in their mortgage payment because their taxes changed. And then your insurance goes up continuously. And one thing about insurance, it goes up, but it don't come down. So you have every right to shop around for insurance quotes at any given time that you're in during the mortgage process, that you're paying for your mortgage, or at any time, because they will go up, but they don't come down. And if you shop around, more than likely you'll be able to save some money. I said on a webinar recently that I had my insurance with an insurance company, and I think my insurance payment had went up to $2,500 a year, and I had enough. To me, that's enough. So I said, okay, you sometimes you just get almost married to these insurance people and things. You think these are the ones, and these are the ones that you have to go through because you've been with them for 15 years, 20 years, but that's not so. So what I did was I shopped around, and I've been in my house for 23 years. I shopped around and I got a quote for a little bit over $1,000. So I highly recommend, don't marry your insurance company. The taxes you have no control over, but the insurance companies you can. Always shop around to see who's going to give you the best rate. You basically almost getting the same services. It's just that you paying more. And one thing about them, they go up, but they never contact you and say, "Hey, we're gonna drop your insurance payment." They don't do that. So what you have to do, you have to make a decision, and you have to drop them. Shop around, and you can get some better quotes. What simple upgrades give homeowners the best returns on their investment? Typically, new windows. If you have old windows that's not really strong and sturdy, that air is coming in, so new windows, a roof, uh, the rest of it, flooring, they do give you some credit if you have converted from carpet to maybe hardwood or the LVP. And a lot of people are not doing a hardwood anymore. They're doing LVP because it's much less than hardwood, and you're getting almost the same kind of flooring, but not almost, but not the same kind. LVP is luxury vinyl flooring. So those kind of things is what can help improve your home. Fencing, if you have a house that your fence is damaged, preparing the fence, that give your house some value too. So those kind of upgrades is what can help to increase the value of your home. And it doesn't give you a whole lot of value, but it does help some. What real estate myth that you wish people would stop believing? That's a good one, I guess. Let me think about that for a little bit. Okay, so I think the only myth that I think that people that I wish people would stop believing is that it's hard to be a homeowner. The people there, the level of thinking about, I can't purchase a home or I can't buy a home. If they could turn that thinking pattern around to say, "Oh yes, I can be a homeowner," I think that's the myth. That's the biggest myth, because other than that, I can't think of anything else, because everyone can be a homeowner if you've gotten your business in order. You have to be on a job at least 2 years. You got to show 2 years of employment. You got to have the income and the credit. But I have seen some people that possibly thought that they could not buy a home and they could purchase a home. And that's what I like to put emphasis on. Everyone can own a home if they do what they need to do to prepare to purchase a home. It may not be the house that you want it to be. It may not be this $300,000 house, but if you start somewhere, then you can always work your way to the bigger home. So, just the idea that, and this is what I come across more so than uh not, is that a lot of time people want to jump out and they want to jump into the most expensive home. They want to get into houses that 350, 400,000, instead of stepping back and saying, "Okay, let me get my starter's home and I'll work my way to my dream home." So that's the one thing, is that I would like to put emphasis on. Even if you're renting and you get a 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom, it's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to keep up with the Jones. You just have to do what you do and continue to do what you do, because even if you buy a less expensive house, you're going to build some equity in that house. And then sooner or later, you'll be able to buy a more expensive home. And if you took advantage of the opportunity, like I've mentioned about paying your mortgage payment, one extra payment a year, paying even a little bit more if you can afford to, then you really are putting money up to move forward into your dream home. So just stepping out and thinking, "Okay, I want to get into this very expensive house with this really large monthly payment," that's not a good thing. Stay in your level of payment that you feel comfortable with, because at the end of the day, You want to travel, you want to shop, you want to eat out, you want to do a whole lot more of the things. And that's what's more important, just to stay into the price range that you are comfortable with. And it doesn't matter if it's a 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom. Start somewhere and then work your way up to where you want to be. Have a game plan, I guess. It would be the best way to say it. What happens during closing? Now that's a good thing. I mean, closing means that you have gotten your clear to close. That means that's the day that you want to smile, you want to be happy. If you want to go out and celebrate, you want to do that. But what happens during closing? That means that you've gotten your clear to close from your lender, means that you don't have to turn in no more documents. You are ready to get your keys. So the process during the closing, and that's something that I need to do, is have an attorney to come on one day and talk about that. The process during the closing is that you're going to go there. The lender would have sent what we call is a closing package. It may be, and it varies now because some people are doing some of the closing docs online. So it could be anywhere from, I'm going to say 10 to possibly 30 pages that you have to sign. And they're going to walk through and tell you everything about what your mortgage payment is going to be and all that's required during the process. And it usually take about 30 to 45 minutes. And at the end, you finish the closing process. Now, one key thing about that is that, and want to be sure you all understand this here. A lot of times when you go to the closing table, you may not get your keys immediately there at the table. And you may not even get your keys that day, because what happened is that those two attorneys has to swap. That's what we call it, is a swap, which means that you have a buyer's attorney, you have a seller's attorney. Those two attorneys, closers, have to swap their documents. And once they swap their documents, then the one that's working on your behalf have to send those final docs to the lender so that they can get what we call a funding number. Funding means the money being released. And then once the money has been released to the seller, then you will get your keys. So don't get discouraged because if a realtor tell you, well, you're not going to get your keys to either later today or possibly the next day. Don't get discouraged about that. Always prepare to move into your new home the next day after closing. Then that'll help eliminate a lot of frustration, and it helps you to get prepared and not be as stressed out. That's a very good question. Does anyone else have any questions? What do you enjoy most about helping families find home? I love to help families find home because this is one of the most expensive items that you may pay for during your lifetime. And not only that, it's the one that you want to find a house that this is your retreat. This is your place that when you go in and you close your door, this is where you want to be. So I love helping people find homes. We go in and out a lot of houses. Some may look at some as many as one house. Some people may look as many over a period of a few months for 50 over not 50, for about maybe 20 or 30 houses. But my thing is that when you find the right house and this is what you want, because you are already in high gear, because you're looking for your home, your dream home, you're excited about it. And when you go into a house and you have that wow moment, like this is it, that really makes my heart happy. So I love to see people purchasing a home, going through the process, as long as it's a good process. Sometimes we do hit some bumps, and when we do, we just try to work over those hurdles and get to where we need to be, because we're trying to get to the closing table. But at the end, I really liked it when we get to the closing table, because that's the joy, the love that I see on your face. It makes my heart happy when I see new homeowners taking advantage of purchasing a home and knowing that they're fixing to get the key to their new home. It makes me really happy. My contact person, if you're interested in knowing more about possibly selling a house or buying a house, always feel free to call me, Area Mays, at 901 901-335-9324. Again, that's Area Maze, 901-335-9324. Feel free to text me or send me an email, and then I can get back in contact with you. If I'm busy, then I may not answer the phone then, but I try to get back with anyone, especially if you send me a text message. I try to get back with it. But feel free to call me if you have questions about real estate, anything in reference to your real estate needs. I'm available for you. Okay, if there is no other questions, thank you so much for tuning in today, and I will see you all next month. Thank you.